The 2023 FIFA Women's World Cup will see the best footballers on the planet do battle. Runners-up in 2019, the Netherlands are aiming to go one better 4 years on. While Canada legend Christine Sinclair has a 6th World Cup in her sights. Immerse yourself in the biggest sporting event of the year with the Contenders. When it comes to Canada's greatest athletes, Christine Sinclair deserves to be in the conversation. Since making her international debut at just 16, Sinclair has been a staple in Canada's national team for over 2 decades, breaking numerous records along the way. In January 2020, Sinclair scored her 185th goal for Canada to break the all-time international goal-scoring record, previously held by former USA striker Abby Wambach.
And I know also if I was the coach of the other team, number one would be stop Christine Sinclair.
She even has more international goals than football icons Cristiano Ronaldo and Lionel Messi. It's a record that won't be broken anytime soon.
She's a phenomenal player, I think. At her age, what she has done in her career, that's, I don't think many players can have such a career as she has. And although she's a little older for a soccer player, she knows where to be at the right spot, at the right time, to score a goal.
As well as being her country's all-time leading goal scorer, Sinclair has more caps than any other Canadian player, one of just 4 women with over 300 international appearances. No active player, male or female, has won more international caps than the veteran midfielder.
She's not just a goal scorer, and that's a great thing about Christine, right? So she is something we can use. She holds the ball up high, and we can combine with her. And she's a stone-hard defensive worker as well. And then she just happens to be very good at scoring on top of that.
Sinclair has scored at 5 Women's World Cups, a record she shares with Brazil superstar Marta. She's also captained Canada at 4 editions of the tournament, the most of any player. Sinclair wore the captain's armband with distinction as Canada made the quarterfinals for just the 2nd time at the 2015 World Cup on home soil.
It's one of the loudest stadiums I've ever been a part of. Hearing the national anthem, it's one of the few times on a soccer field where I've almost shed a tear. Just a very proud moment. And just, I don't know, to get to share this experience, especially with my friends and family in the stands. This is my hometown. It's just a moment I'll never forget.
And the Canadian stalwart, who turns 40 before the tournament begins, has her sights set on a 6th World Cup in 2023. Sinclair has also competed at 3 Olympics, leading Canada to their first women's football gold medal at the Tokyo Games in 2021.
She is an amazing footballer, an amazing human being. She has proven for many, many years that she is a world-class player. She has done a lot for women's football.
A 14-time Canadian Player of the Year, Sinclair's voice on women's footballing issues holds considerable weight. Canada's long-serving captain is leading her team's fight for equal pay, taking aim at Canada Soccer's treatment of its women's national team.
I think there's a few simple things that need to be addressed with the CSA in terms of their transparency and their finances. That's a big one for us as the women's national team. We have no idea where the money is coming from, where it's going, and the difference between the men's and women's national team program. And for us, the pay equity is actually like just a little piece of the puzzle. it's about equal treatment. It's about equal opportunities, equal resources. And honestly, until that happens, yeah, we're going to be at a stalemate.
A leader on and off the pitch, Christine Sinclair will go down as a legend of women's football.
Here's Smith, though, off to the races. Early, Sophia Smith dishes off to Dunn. Sinclair shoots! It's in! 60 goals for Christine Sinclair!
Up next, the Netherlands Women's World Cup hopes have been dealt a major blow. Since qualifying for their first Women's World Cup in 2015, the Netherlands have become one of the strongest nations in the female game. 2 years after competing at Canada 2015, the Dutch won their first major women's trophy at Euro 2017 on home soil, coming from behind to beat Denmark 4-2 in the final.
This is very special. I mean, we play at home and all the supporters around us. And for the women's football, I think this is amazing. And this is a dream that came true.
It will give us a boost for sure. Like, we've done amazing this tournament. We've done good before already. You just know everyone is like following, watching the games, and we feel so much respect. And I just hope it's going to get bigger from now on.
It triggered a boom in popularity in women's football around the country, as superstars like Vivian Miedema became household names in the Netherlands.
We've seen already in this tournament, I think, if we had a day off and we went on the street, that a lot of girls and a lot of other people recognize us. And it just gives you a good feeling, I think. So far, it's all been positive. Of course, you have some negative reactions, but we don't really care about them.
The Dutch carried that wave of momentum from the Euros through to the 2019 World Cup, making it all the way to the final for the first time.
Of course, we are European champion, but we have a group. We want to have more, and that we are standing in the final now at the World Cup on the highest level of in women's soccer. Yeah, that is fantastic. That's amazing.
The Netherlands are a tremendous team. They're European champions. They've got a lot of talented players and a coach who knows what she's doing. So. You know, I expect it. You know, we've watched a lot of film and kind of tried to follow every team through the tournament in terms of just being a fan and watching games. And you know, they move the ball very well and very disciplined in what they do. So I expect it to be a very competitive match.
But unfortunately for Oranje, they had to be content with a runners-up finish after a 2-0 defeat to the United States. And although they ended up on the losing side in the final, they won plenty of admirers for their performances throughout the tournament.
I'm not disappointed. No, I think the girls did a great job, and America was top, and the Dutch ladies were also great.
Well, I'm a little bit disappointed, but I'm also very proud because I think they did an amazing job against a very strong contestant. So yes, I'm very proud.
After failing to qualify for the first 6 Women's World Cups, the Dutch are relishing playing under the global spotlight.
This team steps up more to the size of the opponent or the size of the occasion, more than any team that I've ever worked with or a group of players that I've ever worked with. Actually, I feel less stressed and less worried when it's a big occasion and a big opponent.
Mark Parsons oversaw the Netherlands Euro 2022 campaign that ended at the hands of France at the quarter-final stage.
I was very clear months ago that we were not going to be the team coming in on fire and that we have to build and we have to improve and we have to continue to learn and grow. Yeah, as we have done that, but we've also taken a lot of hits. And despite that, this group continues to get stronger off the pitch. We've taken steps forward on the pitch, but we want to take more steps on the pitch.
Now under coach Andries Jonker, the Netherlands will enter the 2023 World Cup hoping to go one better than they did at France 2019. And they will face a familiar foe in the group stage. The Dutch have been drawn alongside 2019 nemesis, the US, in Group E, providing them with an opportunity to extract some revenge on the defending world champions. The mouth-watering clash with the US will be staged at Wellington Regional Stadium, one of 9 games to be held in New Zealand's capital city. Opened in 2000, the Cake Tin can seat up to 39,000 fans, and it's sure to be full when the US and the Dutch lock horns in one of the tournament's most highly anticipated games. The Netherlands will also face World Cup debutants Vietnam and Portugal, with both matches to be played at Forsyth Bar Stadium in Dunedin. But in a major blow for the Dutch, their top striker Vivianne Miedema won't be available after rupturing her ACL last December. Having scored 95 goals in just 115 international appearances, Miedema will be near impossible to replace. So in her absence, the goal-scoring responsibility falls on the shoulders of Lieke Martens. The PSG attacker is one of just 3 Dutch women to score over 50 international goals. Martens loves the big stage, having been voted the player of the tournament at Euro 2017. She also scooped the 2017 UEFA Player of the Year award. Even without Miedema, the Netherlands should progress to the knockout phase, though it might be difficult to repeat their efforts at France 2019. But you can guarantee the Dutch team will be well supported at the 2023 World Cup when the Orange Army descend on Australia and New Zealand in their thousands.
It's been amazing, really. We all know that our fans can make a party, I think. After the last couple of years, we've seen what they can do, but you actually can feel it on the pitch as well. It's like an extra player.
You can just hear our fans and you just got that special feeling and you know that you're playing at the World Cup.
Coming up, the Women's World Cup trophy is circling the globe, visiting a record number of countries. The FIFA Women's World Cup trophy will be visiting more countries than ever before as part of a game-changing global tour. Ahead of the 2023 World Cup in Australia and New Zealand, the biggest ever edition of the tournament, the iconic trophy will visit all 32 of the participating nations. The tour will look to inspire people of all ages by going beyond to celebrate the soaring popularity of women's football. And the Women's World Cup trophy began its global journey in Melbourne, the home of 6 matches for July and August's showpiece event.
This is exciting. I'm excited to be here in Melbourne, Australia for the FIFA Women's World Cup Trophy Tour. Bringing the World Cup trophy here for one of the countries to hoist it up at the end of August.
Launched to a backdrop of mural artwork in Melbourne's CBD, the trophy was transported to the Unity Pitch, located in the heart of the city's sports precinct. The trophy tour will provide a unique opportunity for members of the public to showcase their footballing talents to a global audience. The Skills Drills campaign, led by female football freestyle world champion Leah Lewis, will give women and girls worldwide the chance to attempt fun football challenges and then share their creative efforts on TikTok. An initiative that will feature at each local venue during the trophy tour. Selected Skills Drills participants will join FIFA legends and national team stars to celebrate the game's emerging talent and add to the excitement around the Women's World Cup.
It's bringing the excitement of the World Cup that's going to be coming here and bringing attention to the game and celebrating the women's game. And I know the trophy will make some stops in the next 32 countries that will be here. The biggest field for the Women's World Cup ever. So super exciting to be part of it.
The trophy will visit countries in Asia, Africa, South America, North America, and Europe before landing in all 9 World Cup host cities in the final weeks leading up to the start of the tournament. Several countries will be part of the tour for the first time, including Women's World Cup debutantes Morocco, Panama, Portugal, the Philippines, Ireland, Zambia, and Vietnam. The trophy also made a visit to Haiti, another nation embarking on its first World Cup in 2023.
There is a lot of positive energy around the trophy. People love football everywhere we go, and here in Haiti as well. It's beautiful. We've had a very warm welcome so far.
The trophy's final stop is scheduled for Wellington, just days before the 2023 Women's World Cup opener between New Zealand and Norway on July 20 in Auckland.
Buy a ticket and sit and watch, because I think the one game you watch, you'll love it and you'll want to come back to another game. So it's contagious. I think the product on the field is going to be incredible. The atmosphere will be electric, and there's nothing like it.
When I started playing, I didn't actually know you could play for Australia. Kind of happened accidentally, so my first recollection of a World Cup is being at one. And, you know, walking into the stadium. It was originally meant to be in China, but because of the SARS outbreak, they changed it back to the previous host, which was America again. So for me, it was a really huge eye-opener. The amount of people at the games was massive. I think the most valuable memory I hold is my first game against Ghana. I just remember thinking, I've had the best game of my life here. There is nothing more I could have done. I think, you know, one of the midfielders or the strikers for Ghana had some great shots. She had about 4 that were going top corner, and I let one in. You know, my coach was really narky at me at halftime, and I was, you know, thinking that I can't do much better here. I've had the game of my life, and I'm just really proud of myself for going through that, and still being able to say, no, you know what, I've played well here, and not letting somebody else's viewpoint diminish what I've done on the pitch. So the match was Brazil versus Australia in the 2015 World Cup in Canada, and it was the round of 16. Lisa Devanna had a strike. The Brazilian goalkeeper made a good save but parried it into the path of Kaya Simon, and she had so much to do to finish it, and she's just struck it like a volley straight into the back of the net. And as a young kid, that's a really, it's a huge moment to capitalise on. And she put it in the back of the net, and we went up 1-0, and that meant we, you know, for the first time won a knockout game at a World Cup. And I just remember sitting on the bench and watching it all unfold and us running onto the pitch, and, you know, I still get goosebumps about it today. So, you know, and that's a culmination of what I was speaking about before, about the time where we all had to go through some really tough moments, because we spent 6 months together without much pay to get that job done before we kind of had that CBA agreement and things that really elevated our game to, you know, professional status for Matildas. So it was a really good moment where we could say, you know, that's all that hard work that's paid off. They're Japan. They don't scrape into anything, but you know, their qualifying tournament didn't go to plan. We beat them and then ended up winning the Asia Cup. And then, you know, it was awesome to see that somebody that we were beating win the World Cup, and it gave you this sense of hope that, you know, you get the things right on the day. It's anybody's venture. Most people would have discounted the fact that we were playing Japan, and yes, they did have 80% of possession, but all you need is one goal and then hold them out. So, you know, it's anybody's game out there.
Still to come, It's an exciting time for Vietnam ahead of their Women's World Cup debut in 2023. With Asia receiving 6 spots for the 2023 Women's World Cup, Vietnam were able to fulfill a footballing dream. Thanks to playoff success at the 2022 Asian Cup, Vietnam qualified for their first ever World Cup, the final Asian nation to punch their ticket to the 2023 tournament in Australia and New Zealand. After a 3-1 quarter-final loss to China, Vietnam overcame Thailand and Chinese Taipei in playoff matches to clinch a maiden World Cup berth. And waiting for them in Group E are defending world champions the United States and 2019 runners-up the Netherlands. They will also face fellow Women's World Cup debutantes Portugal. Their first World Cup game against the might of the US could be a baptism of fire for the Golden Star Women Warriors. But Vietnam manager Mai Duc Chung believes his players won't be overawed by the momentous occasion. "We will respect all the competitors, but we are not scared," Chung said. To achieve an historic victory at the 2023 World Cup, they'll need goals from midfielder Nguyen Thi Toyat Dung. Vietnam's vice-captain has found the back of the net over 50 times at international level. She poses a goal-scoring threat from general play and set pieces, hitting the headlines by scoring twice directly from corners with different feet during a match against Malaysia in 2015. One of 2 Asian nations competing at their first Women's World Cup, Vietnam's efforts are inspiring the country's next generation of female footballers. And Southeast Asian nations like Vietnam are set to benefit from increased FIFA investment.
With FIFA Forward 3.0, we are bringing more investment in the game, but more investment means also more responsibilities. And this is why it is important for us to discuss with each and every member association, particularly here in Southeast Asia, to discuss how we can better invest in the game.
Women's football in Vietnam is brimming with potential. They're 7-time gold medalists at the Southeast Asian Games and 3-time winners of the AFF Women's Championship.
In the past, we utilized a lot of the funds for infrastructure purpose, to build headquarters, to build technical centers. Now the time has come to make the ball roll. So it will be discussions around how we could have more competitions, how we could have more training opportunities for the kids in order to develop football in the coming years.
It's an exciting time for women's football in Vietnam, and the 2023 World Cup will mark a major milestone in the history of Vietnamese sport. Dubbed the Diamond Girls for their perseverance, bravery, and resilience, Vietnam will leave everything on the pitch in their debut World Cup appearance.